Hit it. Welcome everybody to round number 3 of Night for Future Museum here at Gavilan Elementary School. We're going to go ahead and start walking down to our classes so you can take a look at what our students have learned this year. So join me, let's go. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This is going to be one of our greatest events of the year. Shout out to the camera crew staff back there. It is highly appreciated. Go ahead and take a look at the camera crew. Everybody say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
You guys are champs. This couldn't be done without you. They are awesome. Here we'll be entering because this is the staff room, but that's okay. Hello. Hello. The first thing I want to show you is our super secret hawk's nest. It's not ready yet, so we're not going to go in there, but I can guarantee you it's going to be amazing for our kids when we get in there. If you join me, you're going to go ahead and take a look at our wonderful door here.
Why do you love El Gavilan?
What you're going to see in the future, if you ever get a chance to come and visit us, is a room that is basically 21st century learning environment. So what that means is that there's going to be modified seating. And if you actually look closely into the window, what you're going to see on our back wall here is a wonderful wrap created by Mr. G, aka Mr. Galimba, aka original Mr. G, 1.0, whatever you want to call him. Important member of Algad. Let's give him a hot collar for that one. Just continue.
We're writing on that poster there, why do you love El Gavilan? If you want to write it down, and if you wish...
You fill it all out, you should drop it off. Great question. So the first thing I want you to notice is that everybody is here working on our I Love El Gavilan poster. So what we want people to do on this poster is we want them to tell us why they love El Gavilan. Super important because if we know what they love about it, we can keep doing it. Make sense? Hope so. Let's keep going. I'm going to ask you, sir, what do you love about El Gavilan?
Right there, why do you love El Gavilan?
Well stated, high five. And how about you, young man? I know you used to come to our school last year. You're no longer at our school. But as a 7th grader and ex-student of El Gavilan, why did you love coming here?
I love cooking because all the teachers help me out with all this stuff. And I met my best friend here, and I grew up here, went preschool all the way up to 6th grade. And there's just so many good people here. Like, I made so many good friends here.
Wonderful. And just for clarification purposes, I am not your best friend, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and keep going to the next class here. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, before we walk in, I want you to know this is basically our theater room. So what that means is that we're going to actually see some people watching videos that were created by our 6th grade students. Feel free to walk right in and I'll be right behind you. This specific video was, as you can see, shot in the classroom, shot in the halls, and part of it also shot outside on the playground. It shows that our students are very dedicated to what they need to do, and that they are very good. Good job, students. On to the next classroom.
Alice, are you okay? Would you like
Wonderful. What you have here is a website for some of the films. I'm actually going to ask Ms. Busso here, Caitlin, may you go ahead and explain to the people that are watching this what this website is for?
This website is to see the film and plus behind the scenes of the video scenes. And some of them are very exciting.
Bloopers, oh wonderful. That's my favorite part about all movies, bloopers, because you get to see what they did wrong so we can laugh at it and enjoy the process of making movies. How long did it take for you and your group to make the film?
About 6 weeks.
What was the hardest part of it?
Maybe about filming and the locations.
What was the easiest part of it?
Maybe coming up with the ideas.
Wonderful. Now, if you could tell everybody out there, why should they come to visit El Gap?
You should come to visit our lab because our school is very dedicated to our work.
Heard from a student. I didn't pay her to say that. That came out of her own mouth, and it was her own words. Thank you very much. High five. Thank you for your time. And enjoy the rest of your evening. As for everybody else, let's go ahead and walk to the next class video. So what I'm going to do very shortly is I'm going to call Juan, and I'm going to ask him a few questions about his film and what he likes about El Gap. So he's watching over here right now. Just give him one moment. So, this is our public. These are our millions and millions of fans that we can't have here because they're busy working or they're busy doing other things, and unfortunately they couldn't make it. But I want you to first of all say hello to them. Hi world. I would like for you to tell them what you experienced making this film.
iTunes, a lot of argument, a lot of creativity, and a lot of issues. And we're good.
Okay, so what was the hardest part about the whole process?
Recording it on time and actually
And if you can give advice to anybody out there on in the social media world or out there just watching this about why they should come to visit El Gap, what would you say? Wonderful. And I know you only have 2 more weeks here, but we thank you very much for being a great hawk. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. You may go back. As for us, let's keep the show on the road. Let's go. Come on in. This is another video that's produced. We'll take a few seconds, but then we'll move on to the next class that has different projects. But if you look on the side here, we actually can see some of what they've done in terms of the script, in terms of the different people that were in the groups, if you want to take a look at that. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Miss Rudy. So Miss Rudy, of the Hawk High Fives that we use, or that our students use, which one do you feel was the most on display for the projects that they were working on this time?
Probably collaboration was a big one. They had to do a lot of negotiation as a team, and a lot of creativity. So there's a lot of different creative ideas, and when the creative ideas were in conflict, they had to learn to compromise.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I noticed the same thing when I would actually see the students outside interacting with one another. I noticed that they would have to basically do what you said, collaborate, to make sure that even though their ideas were different, that they work and came to a compromise to be able to figure it out together.
Yeah, this was just as much about working together as a group and building those social skills as it was about creating the project.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for sharing.
You're welcome.
They had great projects, and we look forward to seeing more in the future.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Are we ready to go? Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and take off my jacket because it's getting nice and warm.
No, please.
Let's go ahead and go into this class and see what's going on. Ladies, how are we today? May I ask what this is? Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you ladies a few questions if that's okay with you. So first and foremost, just so you know, we are recording and broadcasting live, so you can go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hi.
So the first question that I have for you is, can you tell me a little bit of how you use critical thinking on this? Because I'm sure that you're aware of the 5 C's that we have, right? The collaboration, communication, critical thinking, citizenship, and whatnot. So how did you use critical thinking on this whole activity?
We used it by finding out what movies we want to do, what type of films we want to have to show the emotions, and
Okay, so how did you decide as a team what kind of film you wanted to make?
You all just like sat at the table and like shut it up.
yeah, like we drew
Ideas.
ideas.
It didn't work.
We had a sentence like, what if, and then we started thinking.
Okay, so can you explain to me also why communication was important in this process, another one of our 5 C's?
So we can all agree on what
That makes sense, because if we didn't agree on something, we probably wouldn't have had a final product, right? One last question, may I also ask how you practice your communication in this? Like what specific ways you do that? It was basically verbal conversation, it was online, okay, it was mostly conversation. So can I ask like those conversations kind of
like finding out what we wanted around the script, what we wanted people to say, what line you wanted to say, stuff like that.
Okay. So if you were to tell the outside world out there which of the 5 C's you felt was most important in this project, which one would you say it was?
Communication.
How about yourself? Everybody agrees with communication?
Yeah.
I agree. And speaking of communication, let's go communicate with another classroom.
Oh wow! Good job! Good job!
Yes!
Let's go!
Oh, you go and sign in. Okay, wonderful. Let's catch Mr. Stewart on camera. First of all, Mr. Stewart, go ahead and wave hello to social media out there. So, I'm sure you're aware of our 5 C's: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and citizenship. So, of the 5, can you tell the outside world out there what you feel is the most important as a teacher and why?
I would say communication,
Okay.
because communication can bridge a lot of the problems that kids have with their communication.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your sharing. That doesn't mean that's the only important one. Okay, by no means, so don't get it confused. But I'm glad he was able to share what he felt was the most important. Miss Sebastian, how are we?
Oh, hi.
I'm glad I'm able to catch you.
Oh, good.
So,
Hi,
I want you to know that we're live, so go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So-
All my fans.
I have an important question for you.
Okay.
So, you know that we have 5 C's here on campus.
sure do.
May I ask you why you think or why you feel that collaboration is important?
I feel collaboration is important because it gives all of our students a chance to practice their other skills, even communication, one of the other C's, and work together and take a skill that they're going to use in their everyday life when they get older, as well as when they go to junior high and high school, because you're always collaborating every day.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. High five.
High five.
And on to your wonderful journey. Good. As for us, let's continue as well.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, how's it going? Hello. Hey, how's it going?
So Mr. Capuala
Yes.
is one of our wonderful 5th grade teachers. He's been working hard on the 5 C's as well. Mr. Capuala, in your class, what do you feel is most commonly practiced in your class with the students in terms of the 5 C's?
Well, I think that the one that we try to focus on the most is communication inside of our classroom, getting kids to talk back and forth, have some dialogue, because that really opens up the door for a lot of things like collaboration. And when you can have some really successful collaboration because your communication is strong, then critical thinking is at its peak, and that's when a lot of the productivity happens in our classroom.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. We're
Hey.
definitely going to pop into your class and take a look at some of the
Well,
projects.
we have if you walk down that way and take a left and you follow the human footprints, you will be led to our garden and our compost pile, and you guys can play the compost game and see if you can win. See if you know which items are compostable and which ones are not.
I'm definitely going to have to try. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Let's follow the footprints. High five. High five. All right. Let's take a look. And, oh, I think we passed it.
So this is the dirt. Remember this is the weight
Ah, wrong way, this way.
down, and then it affects the water.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, yes, I would like to play a compost game. Before we do, Alexa, I would like to say, how are you? I am well, thank you for asking. I would like for you to say hello to the outside world. Yes, so this is Alexa, one of our students here at El Gavilan Elementary School. And Alexa, I'm sure you know about the 5 C's: collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship, correct? So if I wanted to try and solve or figure out this thing here, which skill do you think I will have to practice? Collaboration, great, because I'm going to probably work with all of you to get this done, right? I think I'm also going to need critical thinking, because if I don't think about how I'm going to solve this, I just might not solve it. So which one of you would like to help me solve it? Wonderful. Let's head right over. This is going to be fun. Alrighty, what do we have here?
And we did have to put this on because
Oh, wonderful.
these actually started like fighting each other. They started holding on to each other. So we thought if we put this, you know, they can hold on to each other. And it's only been a couple of minutes since we put this on, and they're already actually starting to hold on by themselves.
I wonder if they would have been fighting if they had used communication. Maybe, who knows. So how do we play this game?
There's a game over there.
Oh, how do we play that game over there?
All you have to do is just reach into the bucket and then see if it's either compost or not compost. And if you do win, if you do get the right answer, you do get a celery stick, 2 celery sticks, or an apple. You guys get to chop it off in the.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Shall we go try? What does the outside world say? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'll take that as a yes. Let's go. All right, I'll do this. Let's take a look. Close my eyes. I feel lucky. And I got a food container.
Is
Yay!
that compost or not compost?
Ooh, that's a good question. What does the world think? Is this compost? Is this not compost? What do you think? 10-second thinking. Okay, I think I know the answer. I think the answer is not compost.
Correct. And now you can either get 2 celery sticks or 1 apple, smash it up in the compost, and that can help save the plants.
Ooh, I'll take the 2 celery sticks, but instead of smashing both, can I eat one and smash one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonderful. Healthy snack. Important for us to be healthy. And this one we'll smash in the compost. Probably best if we don't use our hands because it looks a little nasty. But that's okay.
But there is some fertilizer in here, and it does have some good stuff like fish and all that, but that actually helps save our plants, and it can grow faster, and it's actually a good thing.
Okay. Note to self, ladies and gentlemen, definitely don't drink the fertilizer. Ugh. Gross. All right, on to the next task. Thank you, Alexa. High five. Woo! On we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? I gotta say, this is a lot of fun. For those of you that couldn't make it, definitely check out this video because it's almost as if you were here. It's a great experience. I'll tell you one thing. When our kids are done with this show, there's something that they never forget. It's something that they will always remember and it will always stick in their heads because it's a fun experience where they get to share what it is that they learned, how they learned it, and also how they applied it. It's a wonderful experience. Camera crew, I just gotta say, you're doing a great job. I know it's probably not fun following me everywhere, but you're champs. You're doing a great job. Take a look over there. You can see all bunch of our parents that are actively engaged and having a good time. Camera girl, there's your dad right there. We're gonna go say hi to him shortly. Next, we're gonna be walking into Miss Fritz's class. In this class, what you're gonna see is second grade work in terms of what they learn. So let's go ahead and walk into this wonderful world of discovery. Whoa, 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 take a look over here. It looks like we have the water cycle. Just be careful not to step in the water because then you're gonna have soggy shoes, okay? So, can somebody come and explain the water cycle to me? Gracias. I would love for you to come and explain the water cycle.
Yes. She is great.
This is Grecia, by the way. Grecia is one of our second grade students. I'm sure she's going to do a great job of explaining all this information to us. Grecia, what do you know about the water cycle? Wow, that's real sad.
Like when the water like is dry and when the sun is bright, the water's gonna like come up like that one over there. The water is like heating up.
Wonderful. And I just want to let you know that you did a great job of communicating that. That tells me that your teacher and you have been practicing our Hawk High Five because communication is one of them. So thank you very much. You did a great job. High five. Good job.
Good job, good, yeah.
And in case you don't believe it, take a look at this. Real sand. Amazing, amazing. I'm telling you, these are not just classrooms. Miss Frizzle from our wonderful show, Magic School Bus, is going to have a challenge here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mama.
How are we doing? Next, we're going to walk into another second grade class. This class belongs to Mr. Delaney. It's going to be tough, topping real sand and a real fake water pit, but we're going to find out what they have in here. Hey, how we doing?
Hi.
Mr. Delaney, first and foremost, I just want to let you know, because I want to be completely honest, you're on live camera and there's the world out there watching you. Hello. Probably millions and millions of followers. But needless to say hi so you don't get nervous first of all. All right, Mr. Delaney. So you know our 5 C's, which are collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. So of those high fives, which one do you feel is most important for students in second grade and why?
Collaboration really is the most important because it's something they're really, starting to rely on in second grade. First grade, they're getting used to it. Second grade, they're really, working together a lot, learning those skills that they need to have in other grades. And really will take them all the way to life.
And it'll get them ready for what they need to know in the real world, right? Well, I want to say, Mr. Delaney, you did a great job out there. For those of you that don't know him, he is a great teacher, and you can definitely come by and check him out because he will be back next year. We'll see if you can make it. Hello. I'm gonna go. Whoa, who's that? Let's go find this person over here. She's trying to hide, but we're gonna go put her on the spot.
Hi, how are you?
We just caught you because we know you were trying to hide. I just wanted to let you know that you're on camera in front of millions and millions of people.
Hi.
Millions of the Rocks fans.
Go out, Gavilan.
And what I want you to share in front of the camera is what you know about the Hawk High Fives. Why do you feel they're important for our students?
Okay, so the Hawk High Fives are the core of our teaching and learning style here at El Gavilan School. We have communication, creativity, we have collaboration, critical thinking, and most important at the heart of everything we do is citizenship. And so we love our Hawk High Fives. We know that our students are working hard. We're filling up our cards for the Hawk High Fives, and we want to, we'll be having a raffle tomorrow. We like to celebrate here at our school too.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cervantes. I know you're a very busy woman and you got to go visit this whole school and make sure it's nice and safe, so we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we will let you continue with your collaboration with the community.
All right, Mr.
Thank you very
Gonzalez.
much. High five again. As for everybody else here, camera crew, let's get rolling. Okay, so next we're gonna take it back a little bit, and a little bit I actually mean a lot. We're gonna take it back to the gold rush. So for those of you that don't know about the gold rush, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a history lesson, okay? So first and foremost, the 49ers, yes, the San Francisco 49ers were originally named after the 49ers that came during the gold rush. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go into 2 classrooms that have been transformed into the gold rush era. So what that means is that when we walk in, you're gonna see some wagons, you're gonna see a few poems, and you're gonna see a whole bunch of fun stuff that will remind you, or at least teach you, about what the gold rush era looked like. Let's go ahead and walk into room 39. I'm gonna give you a hint. The first thing you're gonna see is somebody that looks like Daniel Boone, but it's not. It's actually one of our teachers. Come on in. Are we ready? Here we go.
Hi, my name is
Hello, Lexi. How are we today?
I'm good.
High five for being here tonight. So I have a quick question. What is it that we're doing here today?
We're going to look at the missions and also the gold rush.
Wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about the gold rush? What do you know about the
The
gold
gold
rush?
rush was started at 1849 because the gold was discovered in San Francisco or California. And then all the people across the world traveled from boat or to wagon to get to San Francisco or California.
Amazing. Is there any gold in here that I can take home? Oh, right. That's okay. You can still show me around and then we'll talk about the pipes and everything. Where would you like to take me first? Wonderful. Let's start with the missions.
Which one do you want to go?
Surprise me.
I don't know what it is.
Ooh, nice. So it's looking like you're scanning the QR code and then it's going to take you to a specific web page?
Yeah, it's gonna take you to YouTube and it says their name right here, so it could go to their missions.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that's a good way of communicating? Yes or yes?
Yes.
That's the right answer. So can I ask you, why do you think that's a good way to communicate?
Because it can show you what they used to do.
I would agree with that. That's a high five, yes. Just another way that we do a great job of communicating here at Algab, one of our high fives. Let's continue. Thank you, Lexi, again. Appreciate it. What you're going to see here is just another way that our students can communicate and show what they know. So what you saw over there was basically a technology version of the work that we produced. What you're going to see here, if you actually focus on it, is that the way that our students can communicate by paper. So what you're going to see here is an example of a student basically writing about the gold rush. And it's the same thing all the way around, but what I want everybody to know is that our students are allowed to communicate through various avenues or various ways so that they can express themselves in the way that they most feel comfortable. So that's what we try to practice here at El Gavilan to make sure that we have that creativity option as well. On to the next class. Let's say bye to Miss Delaney and hi, actually, before we say bye.
Hi!
And now that I think about it, I'm totally going to surprise her with a question. I wasn't, but she has such a cool hat that I figured we need to focus on her. So, Miss Delaney, of the 5 C's, collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship, which one is your favorite?
My favorite is critical thinking because the kids have to use their brains, they have to think about everything they've learned and apply it to their real life. So creative thinking all the way.
Wonderful. And that is a creative way to use the hat, by the way. I love how it took me back to the gold rush era. It almost makes me want to go pan for
Feels
gold.
like a gold miner, huh?
Exactly. Gold miner.
Stay tuned. That may be next.
Exactly. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the next class. Thank you for your
Good night.
All right.
Let's go. It's going to be one of the last classes on this wing before we cut back to the other wing. So let's go check out this version of the Gold Rush. I haven't been in here, so I'm totally going to be as surprised as you are, and I'm sure it's going to be a great surprise. Hello. And here we have Miss Cariaga.
Hello.
Miss Cariaga, say hello to the outside world, please.
Hello, everyone.
I promise they won't bite because they're not here to do so. But although that's the case, I have a couple of questions for you if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
So the first question I have for you is, of the 5 C's that we practice here at the Hawk High Fives, which one is your favorite and why?
Collaboration, definitely. I like working with everyone.
So you she likes working with everybody. So for anybody out there interested in teaching, she'll definitely be happy to coach
Come on
you.
over.
Second question, in terms of the projects that we have over here, if you'd like to join me.
Okay.
Which of the 5 C's did your students have to work the hardest on to get this done?
Creativity.
Why is
these essays here, they had to research the 3 routes to the gold rush, and then they had to choose which one they would take if they were in the gold rush. Or the poems, they had to create a poem about the gold rush. Or our California missions, they had to choose one of the 21 missions and be creative to make a brochure and research it and look up all the facts about their specific mission.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. High five. And now, for all you viewers out there, I have a critical thinking question for you, and this one's even hard for me. The question is, how many of the missions that are in California can you name? That's a tough one. Hopefully, you can name at least 5. I'll give you 20 seconds to think about it while we walk to the next classroom. Bye, everybody.
First, I was over here.
Okay, while we're walking, I want to let everybody know that we're going to now move on to our younger population here at El Gavilan. We're going to be walking towards our kinder students, and over there, what we are going to see is a lot of students basically sharing what they know, similar to what we've already seen. So it's pretty amazing to see that such young kids can produce as great work as our upper grade kids. But it's all because of the 5 C's, don't forget them. Let's see if you can name them. First one is collaboration. Second one is communication. Third one is creativity. Fourth one is critical thinking. Last one is citizenship. Remember those. I'll ask you again at the end of this video before I leave. Let's just say hi to everybody as we're walking because we're the nicest people in the whole wide world. I got an idea. Let's go ahead and surprise Miss Sarah over there with a question. Let's go. Maggie's not going to answer her question for her. There's no way that's happening.
Mrs. McKee's going to get mad at me if she sees this, though.
Don't let Miss McKee see it.
Miss McKee's daughter.
So this is Miss Sarah. She works here at El Gavilan, and the reason why we're here is because we have an important question for her. So of the 5 C's, collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship, which one is your favorite and why?
I think citizenship, because I think being friends with everybody at the school and being nice to everybody and making friends with people is very important, and that counts as citizenship.
Spoken like a true citizen.
But I like them all.
Just like you got to catch them all Pokemon, you got to have all 5.
You've been talking to Mrs. Delaney, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Wonderful teacher. She's great at catching Pokemon and great at celebrating the Hawk High Fives every day. So with that being said, we thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
We know you're on babysitting duty.
I am on babysitting
We're going to go ahead and run over to our kinder wing and find out what's happening there. But before we do, turn right behind you and let's go ahead and catch our superintendent and our photographer.
Photographer.
What? Not her photographer.
Congratulations.
She's everybody's photographer.
Congratulations on a successful Back to the Future Museum. Yoo-hoo! You did great. I love coming to your open houses. I love coming to your event nights. They're always so exciting to see what kids are doing in their classroom, and they're always led by students. That's what's the greatest part of this. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you here.
I was like too much. Call Ernesto to see where he's at.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get to the picture.
Yeah, call Ernesto where he's at, so he's calling on your phone.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's go ahead and get our PR guy on this. Mr. Gavin.
I'm going to hit the last class.
Hello, thank you.
How you doing?
So this is Mr. Gavin. He's our PR person for the district, does a wonderful job of making sure all our websites are updated, making sure that he takes pictures of all the events, all the wonderful events that our district has, such as this one here. So Mr. Gavin, I'm going to ask you a question. So here at El Gavilan, you know that we celebrate the Hawk High Fives, which are collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. Of those 5, which one do you think is most important for you, or which one is your favorite? How about that? It's a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah. Creativity is one, right?
Absolutely.
You know, creativity, I would say, for me, is probably the most important. You know, you can do everything you possibly could when it comes to text, writing, speeches, but if you add a little creativity in there, it makes everything so much better. You know, you can communicate with people who are maybe older than you, who are maybe younger than you, and all with that creativity, you can communicate and target those different types of audience. But yeah, I would say creativity.
You did a great job of creative answer on the
thank
spot.
you.
That was
Appreciate
really
it.
good. That's a great way of celebrating and showing what creativity
Well, I'm
is.
learning from Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Galimba right here. So
yes.
yeah. Well, thanks guys. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
Appreciate
I'm gonna go visit the other classrooms. But thanks guys. I appreciate it. Great
Enjoy the
job,
rest of your day.
students. You guys are
Wonderful.
doing great.
Mr. G, before you go, we have a high five to give you.
Oh, here's a little hawk lady coming
Oh, we
up
changed
with a
our
high
mind?
five. High five.
No? Can I give him a high five for you?
It counts. It counts. We'll take it. Let's go before they close. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna step into the twilight zone. The twilight zone of kindergarten, so we're taking it back. What you're gonna see in this classroom, which is taught by Miss Hurst, is a bit of evidence in terms of what it is that the students have been learning. We'll ask her a few questions and then we'll be on our merry way. Sound like a plan? All right, let's go. All right, good evening. So if you look at the image right behind her, the work that the students have produced, you can see that they were learning about the weather, basically how they would dress for the weather. And if you look right under yourself, camera woman, what you're going to see is the different types of clothes that they would wear during different types of weather patterns that we would have here locally. Like that. One question that will be out of your way. So, as you know, we practice about high fives here. The collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. For your students at such a young age, which one do you think that they have to work on the most and why?
I think communication is very important because the kids need to learn how to collaborate and get along and talk to each other and learn how to answer questions and how to be in the world, how to get along, how to answer questions.
Wonderful. And I would agree with that assessment, especially because they're so young and new to school that they need to be able to develop that skill. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you for coming.
On to the next class because it's almost time to go. We're running out of time. What you're going to see on this wall here is information about the different planets. Make sure you don't touch the sun because the sun has been said to burn. I don't know, I've never touched the sun, don't want to because I don't want to be burned to a crisp. Let's not risk it. But let's definitely go to third grade and find out what's happening over here. Step back, it's actually going to first grade first. We're doing well. Say hi to the social media world that's out there watching us.
Hi guys, welcome to my classroom. We're here with some of our students. We actually teamed up. Miss Malvini and I are displaying all of our first grade work.
Wonderful. Looks like you were learning about the planets, right? What I see here on this iPad is a project about Neptune. Wonderful. Is this something a student produced?
Yes.
That is pretty amazing. And I'm assuming that it would be the same with this over here. If we look at the phase of the moon. Ooh, this project looks tasty. Looks like it's made out of cookies. Cookies. Everybody likes cookies. That's actually a really wonderful way to represent the different phases of the moon. Just by looking at the different projects here, ladies and gentlemen, we can definitely see that there was creativity because they had a very creative way of representing the different phases of the moon. So, Ms. Beloka, if I may ask you a quick question, how did you come up with such a creative way to represent the different phases of the moon? Is it something you saw online? Something you just came up with on your own?
Definitely something that we got off online. Yes.
Wonderful.
And our students had a great time. They had a hard time not eating the cookies. They wanted to eat the cookies.
I would have a hard time too, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But yes, we had a lot of fun creating all the planets as well out there. I don't know if you guys got to see.
Yes, we did. We almost got burned by the sun.
Oh my gosh.
It's very scary. But it's a wonderful learning experience for our students.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
We're going to go
you
ahead and
guys
move on
for
to the next
coming
class.
in.
High
Okay,
five.
high five.
Everybody say bye.
Bye.
All right, on we go. We're almost done. We're running out of time. Unfortunately, but it has to end sometime.
Can you do our short part?
Wonderful. Let's go ahead and jump into third grade. Let's see what we have in here. Yes, Adrian.
The one person here is going to absolutely love that.
Wonderful. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different projects that we have here first of all. That looks like fun. It looks like they were learning about blizzards. We can tell because it says blizzard over here. And then over here, it looks like they made a diorama of a blizzard with wonderfully colored milk cartons. Very creative. Well, in case you're wondering, world, this is Miss Sparks. She is one of our third grade teachers here at El Gavilan Elementary School in Salinas. First and foremost, say hi, Miss Sparks.
Good afternoon.
And if it's okay with you, I'd like to ask you a question about our hot classes. So as you know, they are collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. Which one is your favorite? I'm curious.
I think cooperation or critical thinking.
Okay.
Because I think those are two extremely important life skills. And if you can work together and you can critically think, you're going to have a successful life.
I definitely agree with that assessment. It's so hard to choose between all of them because they're all important for our students.
They're all important.
But you sold me. I think that's a great skill.
We have a student over here who worked on a tornado project.
Wonderful.
Would you like to explain your project?
My project was we did a test of, first we made houses and we tested them out with a big fan, and we would always turn the fan on the highest point after like low levels, low, medium, and high, and then we would take notes, and then we would make new blueprints of how to make the houses better so it wouldn't even tip over. And our hypothesis, our design was to make the houses lower and the roofs longer, like a hurricane, because a hurricane's almost the same as a tornado.
Wonderful. So may I ask what specific modifications or changes you made to the houses so that they wouldn't be as damaged as much or withstand more damage, I guess?
Yeah, we used cardboard and we folded it in half, and then we would make it almost touch the ground, but we couldn't shorten the houses though.
That is very, very smart because if they're lower to the ground, then they probably can withstand more wind, huh? High five for using that critical thinking and creativity. I'll tell you what, that almost looks as nicely painted as my house. That's pretty good. All right, thank you very much for sharing. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next class if that's okay with everybody. And actually, before we move on, I totally forgot to ask, and I'm so sorry. Which of the high fives do you feel helped you get through this project? I'll remind you what they are. They're collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. Which one do you feel was most helpful in helping you get this project done?
The one that was most helpful in this project was critical thinking, because my team had all sorts of ideas, different ideas, because one of them thought of one that might happen, because there is sometimes rain from a tornado, because it forms from thunderclouds. And he thought that maybe if the rain hit the house, like it accidentally curves at the edge of the roof and drips. He saw that maybe it would want to go like that and go inside the house, and then the house would be wet.
Interesting assessment.
But then I said that, well, at the edge of roofs, most of them just drip down, so it wouldn't go up. because if there was no gravity, then it would probably just go straight up.
Wow, that is very, very critical thinking of you. I gotta say, I am highly impressed, young gentlemen, and it's been a pleasure having you share with us. Unfortunately, our time is running out, so we're gonna keep moving on. However, we're definitely gonna come by and stop and visit you again sometime, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
On we go.
Good job.
Ms. Parks, always a pleasure.
Yep. Yep. And the superintendent thought your guys' writing was awesome.
Give me one moment, boss is calling. Right outside Ms. Parks' class. Hold on.
I just wanted to let you know that your phone was dropped off, so I'll just take it to you.
That's strange because I have my phone.
Okay, I was gonna get it from William's class, that's where they were giving, where they left it.
Copy that, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, it looks like we have nothing here. So we'll move on over here. Let's see what else there is. Oh, wonderful. We're going to take a look at some of the projects that are here, and then we'll go ahead and ask the teacher one question, and then we'll be out of the air. So let's go ahead and take a look at the projects first of all. As you can see, World, they were learning about the water cycle, because you can see the different parts of the water cycle, or the different stages of the water cycle. We have condensation, evaporation, and if we can get it unstuck here, we'll see the collection of water and precipitation. And then it all starts again. That's why it's called a cycle, because it cycles or goes in circles round and round. Where it goes, nobody knows, but that's okay. So, to the back over here, we have Miss Davis. Ever say hello, Miss Davis?
Hello.
So, Miss Davis, I have a question for you, and it's one
Absolutely.
question, I promise, it won't be a hard question.
Okay.
So, as you know, we practice our Hawk High Fives here. Of the Hawk High Fives, which one do you feel is the most beneficial for your students at this young age?
At this young age?
Yeah, of second grade, yes.
Ooh, I would say collaboration. It's really hard. It's a hard skill to get, to work together and to share ideas and to accept ideas. Definitely.
I agree with that. And she's absolutely right. It is a hard skill to develop because a lot of times young kids tend to think about just themselves. So she works really hard to make sure that they're able to consider other opinions, other points of view, and make sure that they're able to work together to produce good quality group work. Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Davis. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
Adios.
Almost off the hook. Almost. And as for us, on to the next class. Yeah. It looks like we are down to the wire. Literally 5 minutes. Countdown. 5 minutes until we are done. So let's go ahead and hit a couple more classes. Hello. Hey, it's our good friend, Miss Sarah. Again, say hello again.
Hello.
Miss McKee, how are we today?
Very good. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. So you are first and foremost on live television because I don't want anything to come as a surprise. What we're going to see up here, World, is some of the projects that the students made. As you can see, this is a demonstration of a blizzard, and now they're moving on to a flood. We're going to see what a flood looks like. I can tell you what, you definitely don't want to be a part of a flood because it is a scary thing. And you can tell by the image here that it's pretty darn scary. So, Miss McKee, while we're watching this video on live camera, I want to go ahead and ask you a few questions, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
The first question I have is, of the 5 C's, because you know we practice the Hawk High Fives, the 5 C's, which one do you feel helped your students solve or complete this activity?
I'd say they really worked on their critical thinking because they had to design these communities to withstand their storms, and then when they failed, they had to go back and solve the problem, how to fix it. And so they really had to work hard and think hard.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing. And obviously, as you can tell, they definitely did a good job of it because you can see that they're thinking of what's going on in this whole scenario, and it looks like fun, but it's also very engaging and full of learning. So we thank you for taking the time of teaching our students using the 5 C's. We greatly appreciate it. Bravo, bravo. With that being said, thank you very much for your time. You have a good rest of the day. We're going to go ahead and head to one more class, and then our time is finito.
So much fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately we have about 3 minutes left before our time together ends. But while we're walking to the next class, I wanted to take this moment to say thank you very much for joining us today. We know that you all have busy schedules and it's hard sometimes for you to take time out of your day to be able to make it or even just watch our video online. But we do thank you for joining us. Like if you liked it, like if you didn't, because we just appreciate the likes anyway. But in all seriousness, we do thank you. Because like I said, this is something that's important to our students, which is why we take the time to film what it is that they're doing, which is why we're out here making sure that the world knows what's going on here at El Gavilan Elementary School. Because using the Hawk High Fives, we feel that we're making a difference for all our students and making sure that they are ready for the future when they are going to be productive citizens into our society. And we take that responsibility seriously. As you can tell, the students do too, because they are producing amazing work. So with that being said, let's hurry to our last class and then we will go ahead and sign out. We're going to be heading back up to the upper grades. We'll finish off with one of them and then we will go ahead and careful with the footprint.
Cold out there. Today.
What's this? Wait, come on.
I see you trying to hide back there, but you can't hide from the Hawk High Fives because they're following you. So with that being said, how are you? Oh, April Fool's this time. How are you this afternoon? Wonderful. I am well. Thank you for asking. So as you know, you're in 6th grade and you're going to be graduating soon, right? And you've had a lot of opportunities to create different projects, such as what we have behind you. The question that I have for you now that you're going to move on to 7th grade is, how do you feel like the Hawk High Fives have helped you? In case you forgot, the Hawk High Fives are collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship. The question once again is, how do you feel like those Hawk High Fives help you be a better student?
I think they help me with my citizenship because I've been more helpful, and instead of getting more in trouble, I've stayed more out of the drama.
And I noticed that, so I definitely appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for your time. I know that you got to go home and shower up and get ready for tomorrow, so I won't keep you much longer. Thank you again very much for your time. Is there anything you need to let the world know before we dismiss you?
Don't get in trouble.
That is right. Don't get in trouble. Let's go ahead and walk out to the front because unfortunately our time is now up and I got to go ahead and say goodbye to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, that unfortunately concludes our time here at El Gavilan tonight at the Future Museum 3.0. It was a wonderful event. As you saw while we were walking around, there were plenty of parents, plenty of students, plenty of community members that were here supporting all of our students and all of the learning that they have done. In case you haven't noticed, we have Hawk High Fives here at El Gavilan. Once again, they are collaboration, communication, creativity, citizenship, and communication. And actually, what I want to do before I show you, I originally wasn't going to do this, but I'm just too excited, so I have to. I'm going to go ahead and show you them in our super secret room. So if you come quickly, we can check it out. Are we ready? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Give me one already. Give me what's your last name, Gemini?
Are we ready, world? Because I don't think you're ready for this. So what you're going to see here, world, is the first ever exclusive of our Hawk High Five wall. What you're going to notice is that on this wall, which has been completely redone with the Hawk High Five, is a reminder to our students and the world, basically, that this is what we model our education after here at El Gavilan. It's important that we have creativity so that we can use our brains and be creative with our learning so that we can represent it in the best way that we can. It's important that we use critical thinking to be able to solve problems. It's important that we're able to communicate so that we can express ourselves in an appropriate way so that we can get our message across. It's important that we collaborate because in the real world, we will be doing that very often. And it's important that we have citizenship because in the real world, we should be able to put ourselves in other people's feet, per se, or put ourselves in other people's situation. Kind of in a sense having a heart, which is why we have a heart up there, so that we can make the best choices that will not offend anybody and that will get us far in life. And in case you ever forget that we have high fives, that's why we have the big high five in the middle. And for those of you that are out there in the world, if you ever see the logo that's located right in the middle of that hand, that is what is at the heart of our school. That's our logo. That's our mantra. It basically means that Hawks are high. We have the Hawk high fives. We're always Hawk ready. We listen with our eyes, our ears, and our heart. And with that being said, I want to thank all of you out there in the real world for listening with your eyes, with your ears, and with your heart. With that being said, I want to say so long. It's been a pleasure being your host today. Thank you once again to all the wonderful camera crew for working so hard. I would ask you to give yourselves a round of applause, but unfortunately your hands have the iPads in them, and I don't want you to drop them, so I will give you a round of applause. You did an excellent job. With that being said, if you ever get a chance out there, definitely come by and visit El Gavilan Elementary School here in Salinas, California. It's a wonderful school where learning is truly coming to life, and we hope that one day you'll get a chance to see us. With that being said, my name is Ernesto Gonzalez. I'm the vice principal here. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you soon.